Have you ever had one of those days or series of events when everything that could go wrong went wrong? And you said, why me? In most cases, it's really not as bad as it seems. And there's always something funny that we can find about that situation after the fact. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and they're no guests. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to find the funny in stressful situations. Throughout my life, I've had many stressful situations. And during those times, they weren't funny. But later, I was able to find the funny in those situations. Several years ago, I was working at an automotive company. And they were getting ready to move into their corporate headquarters. Well, during this time, I was having so much corporate drama, especially with my supervisor. So our team had to move into a temporary location before we moved to the headquarters. So my manager decided that she was going to assign me to a secretary's cube. And everyone else got assigned to an office or a regular cube. So I said, fine, it's temporary. But for those of you who don't know, a secretary's cube has low walls in the front. And to make matters worse, I was also by a supply cabinet. So from the serviceman to your ordinary employee asking me questions every day about the printer, about the supplies, stealing my sticky notes, my pens, my pencils, and paper clips, I was pissed. And I mean, I was pissed every day. So I made a request and I said, could I have 2 tall partitions here so that I wouldn't be distracted? And my request was denied because they said, you'll only be here for 2 months, temporary, you can do it. Okay. So I decided I'll solve this issue. So what I did was I had a lot of boxes in my cube. I took my stuff out and I opened up those boxes and cut them. And I taped the box and I taped 2 boxes and I taped this box to this side and I taped the other box to this side. Problem solved. No one could see me and I couldn't see them. Now when I say the whole department, and I mean the whole department, laughed and laughed, and even brought the VP down to my desk to see my cardboard boxes. But believe me, I got those partitions the next day. And at that time I had to laugh at myself, and I really had to take pictures to prove to my friends that I had the guts or I was courageous enough to do that. And I have them to prove it. So I'll just pass those around and you can look at those at your leisure. And so funny that my friends always joke with me and say that they were going to make the sequel to Office Space 2 based on my experiences at that job. But it wasn't funny at the time. But it was funny later. Many people get so overwhelmed at life that they never take the time to laugh at themselves and the crazy situations that they find themselves in. Laughter can sometimes be the antidote to overcoming some of life's stressful situations. How do you handle stress? Faith, do you internalize it? Emmanuel, do you take it out on other people? Or Eric, do you find the funny in it? Finding the funny means taking a look at that situation, or taking a look back at that situation laughing at it, learning from it, and then making sure you don't repeat it. Several years ago, my family and I went to DC to visit my sister for Thanksgiving. And we decided we were going to drive to New York to go shopping. So we drove straight to Manhattan, and we decided that we weren't going to check into our hotel in Queens and just go straight to Manhattan and shop so we didn't miss the deals. When we got there, of course, it's the day after Thanksgiving, so it's crowded and there's people everywhere, and there was no place to park. So we finally found somewhere we could park, but we needed to get changed. But everybody wanted to go. So my mother, my sister, and I decided to go and get changed for the meter. My father said he was going to sit in the car and wait till we got back. We weren't going more than 10 minutes. And when we got back, no one was there. Now, this is the day after Thanksgiving in Manhattan, near Macy's on 34th Street. And to make it worse, my father does not have a cell phone because he said he doesn't need one. Now, we don't have our bags, and I left my purse in the car. So I'm hysterical at this point. So, luckily, my sister left her cell phone in the car. So I called that phone at least 100 times. Nobody answered. So now I'm really upset. The 150th time, he finally picked up. Hello? And in my most frustrated voice, I said, where are you? He says, I'm part of Snoopy. The Snoopy? What's the Snoopy? After about 10 minutes of trying to figure out where he was, he had moved the car and parked down the street, and there was a floating Snoopy on top of Old Navy. So when I walked down there and saw him sitting in the car, looking crazy. But it wasn't funny then. But it is funny now. Oftentimes, a lot of people don't find the humor in there, and it depends on that's how they deal with the situation. They get stressed out. But as you can see, the stories that I've shared with you, they definitely weren't funny at the time. So when you have a stressful situation, just look at it and know it's not funny now, but it will be funny later. Try to find the funny in everyday situations. Madam Toastmaster.